Oh, YouTube, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. So, I wanted to come on here and make another video, remake one of the videos that I made. I made it a little earlier, but I definitely was not grounded. So, I am a little more grounded right now. So I thought I would refilm this, pardon me, and post it. So, let's get it. So I had lunch, as I said earlier in some of these videos, with my brother today. It was really nice, and all of those weird experiences, or not experiences, but just picking up on the 3, the 6, and the 9. He ended up calling me, or let's put it this way, I got a call from my brother at 11:43 a.m. And he ends up calling me and asking me about the ticket, if I wanted it or if I wanted to shred it, and I was like, no, I don't think so. Only way I'd use it is if I wanted to get the officer's surety bond number, the insurance they're bonded with, and where I want to file this claim against them for violating my rights. Simple as that. And he said, oh, okay, well, I can just throw it away then. And I was like, yeah, you can throw it away. And then he asked me about what I was going to do today. And I said, I'm just chilling, not much plans. The big thing was essentially seeing him, right? And because right then and there I was in my vehicle, but it had been raining for a good 40 minutes, I want to say. And it was cloudy, super duper cloudy and thick. After I said that, he followed it up with, oh, well, because I know you like going for walks and being outside, and, I just thought, that might be what you end up doing today. Or since it was rainy, what are you going to do instead? And it was cold. His tone, it was off. I can't say immediately, like, from the beginning, but, after that was said, it definitely hit me in my back, in my mid-back. I would say that's just where I felt it in my body. And I just felt like, wow, bro, I mean, I have known you for 25 plus years. You have never sent out this type of energy before. And why it just felt so off is because he then immediately ended the conversation. I was like, oh, well, it's no big deal. I can still go outside for a walk in the rain, and it feels nice. And when it's cool out, I mean, it's not cold, but it's a nice cool temperature today. And even then, I mean, right now, it's looking pretty cloudy. I'm gonna step outside real quick and just show the sky. Right? So this right now is definitely, I'm gonna close my car door, less thick than how it was when he ended up saying those words to me. But I was still just, with where I was and how I was feeling, totally content just walking outside in cool weather. Because if I have the option, if I'm not doing anything for my day, like literally nothing, and if I have to pick between doing nothing inside or doing nothing outside, I'm grabbing my blanket, grabbing a hoodie, and lying on the damn grass. That's just how I am, and I've done it more than once. So I just was like, yeah, I can just go for a walk or whatever. And then I don't know if he was expecting that answer or not, but he immediately switched to basically saying goodbye. Or not even basically, but saying goodbye. And I was like, just how things ended and how he was speaking about, me basically not having anything to do. It's just the vibration was completely off and my antennas were picking up on it. So I then ended up you know, hanging up after we said bye, and I looked at the clock again, and when he called me, and it said 11:43. I said this earlier, but I looked at it right after, and I just thought that's interesting that you call me at that time, and you send out some really funky, uncomfortable vibrations that I then receive. And then instead of continuing to have a conversation, you want to immediately hang up. And my brother he's never been that way, especially after we have had heart to hearts, just with how I've been feeling, particularly this past year. He is more open hearted and willing to receive me. And I am more open hearted and willing to receive him just as a listening ear. And there was anything but that with this conversation ending. So that was the conversation, and it then made me think of my friend in the East Coast who I sent her a video saying, going back to July, that the black woman is God. The black woman is God. The black woman is God. All right. I just need to say that. And that, we got 72 demonic forces inside of us, feminine energies inside us that are about to be released. I sent her the video on Rashad Jamal, Return of the Ancient Ones. I sent her those 2 videos. And she responded extremely cold through text message. She said, hey, and this was about when I was telling her, hey, my flight to India got messed up. I'm still in Colorado. My parents aren't who they say they are. My parents are white supremacists. They don't love me. I'm not their son. I'm their pet. I went off in this chat, and then I sent her this part of the text saying, we've had conversations about this sauce. What is the sauce that everyone has that we don't, that's just making life so smooth for them? Like, why are we struggling so much? And it was those 2 videos that I attached saying, the black woman is God, and then Return of the Ancient Ones. This is why there is so much effort, bottom line, into the repression of black women, black men, and also I learned in those videos Latino women and Latino men with green veins, and that we both possess dark matter energy inside of our bodies, and we are 93 being Anunnaki, goddesses and gods. And this ancient being in both of us is returning soon. Sometime this, I believe at the end of this year, because 2025 is the year of the 9, when looking at that and breaking down those numbers, 2 plus 0 equals 2, plus 2 equals 4, plus 5 equals 9. I'll get into that really quick in a different video as well, but she just responded very cold after I sent her all that, and she was like, oh, in regards to me missing my flight, hey, that sucks. Hope you figure it out. And my mother, Michelle, ended up using that word, that, oh, this sucks. Oh, this just sucks. I mean, I lost count, you guys, from that day on July 29th when I was meant to fly and then came back to the house up until she left to Germany to see my father, the Rothschild, the Maxwell and the Rothschild. And when I read it, I heard her voice, and that's what these antennas picked up on, and I didn't get why. So then I ended up, continuing to speak with her, send messages, and we talk on the phone through FaceTime with the video chat, right? And there had been a couple of times where we would speak to each other, and she was just really hurting, and I could feel it and sense it. And after this time of when I sent her that India thing, the whole text message relationship between us changed. And her new normal of sending me text messages, and this started happening more frequently up to today, is sending me 3 text messages. 1 text message, then edits it, then edits this one and sends a final one. But all with the same foundation of the first one. And my body is, I'm visually seeing 3 text messages, and the voice just sounds completely different. You know, I've known my friend since I was a sophomore in high school, so 2013 into 2014, and I've known her since she was diagnosed with a mental illness, which I believe words are just spells. Somebody saying that you have this mental illness, that schizophrenia is what she was diagnosed with. That's just a professional opinion, bottom line. And I believe she has a gift, and she is gifted, and she is seeing through the veil. This I know. And for whatever the reason, she told me she was seeing demons, and they were telling her negative things about me. I believe she was seeing, whether it was ETs or these other fallen angels, but they were masquerading as me. And I know that that's a possibility because I have had it not with her, but with fallen angels masquerading as my brother or masquerading as my one best friend from California, hoping that I would believe it was them, that part of my consciousness, and I would then come back to this body and treat them differently so we would be more separated. No, 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 no. For if anything, that happening with my one friend who was diagnosed with that mental illness, as well as the other people, it brought me closer to them. So, phones and consciousness. So that text message, I ended up getting text messages 3 times from her, and this just became the new normal. And then we would talk to each other, and ever since, most definitely, when we've talked on the phone 2024, there's just been a shift in her. And I'm seeing her, it looks like her, sounding like my best friend from the East Coast, but I know in my soul it's not her. The same churning feeling that I felt when I was seeing, these 2 carbonated gods in the film Eternals, and I didn't know why. And now I'll say it's because my soul, the dark matter energy inside of my soul, inside of my vessel, I should say, was sending signals to my soul. Hey, you gotta remember, first off, you're an Anunnaki. And these are 2 Anunnaki goddesses on the camera instead of gods. So I've had that same feeling, but with text messages with my friend from the East Coast. And then when I've spoken with her on FaceTime, even though I see her and it sounds like her, looks like her, I know it is not her. Whether she is still at the hospital or whether, or I should say got put back into the hospital, or whether or not she's at her parents' house and her channel has been compromised and blocked from me, and my channel has been blocked from her. I just wanted to make this video because I just got a low battery warning. Good thing I got the charger in my car. So, just turned on my vehicle. Yeah, so I know it's not her. When I've seen her on Face Chat, and then when she's texted me. So I don't know how her channel got compromised, but that's through the phone, right? Telephone, mobile. And as a result, through Instagram, we both went through this spiritual cleansing, and she ended up unfriending a bunch of people. I ended up deleting my social media during the time when we did this. And then she started saying how her social media is behaving strangely. And during this time when I was just questioning, like, who was that I was just speaking with? I know it wasn't my best friend. What is going on? I ended up unfollowing her on Instagram, and she tried following me, and I didn't accept it. And she went from, mind you, we both were not the popular kids in high school, to then going on this spiritual journey somewhat together, and we just started unfiltering the people that we really believed were not there to help us, but were there to hurt us at different points. But we were relating to each other when we talk about how you are and similarities. So she's filtering out those bad seeds in her life. And you mean to tell me that now, out of nowhere, she now has more followers than people she's following, and the amount of people that she's following is 500 something plus, and the people she is followers, the number was 396 or 369. Point is, there's a 3, there's a 6, and there's a 9. That manipulation, her account was never that like numbered based in regards to those specific digits, the 3, the 6, and the 9. Never. And then especially after filtering out those people, it was never like that. So that was definitely something that stood out to me as weird. And then on the phone call, earlier in January or February, she asked me to, oh, well, I'll just follow you. And I was like, no, my body knew that that's not my best friend. And I did the hardest thing that I could do in that moment, and I ended up blocking her on my phone. And this spirit that is masquerading as her looked really upset that I was not allowing them access to my energy field in that specific way, because I knew it wasn't my best friend, and this is some spirit that is ill-intentioned. So I then blocked her on my phone, and then I unblocked her the next day, and I had an experience with the real her in the astrals. And we were in complete darkness, and we ended up having a conversation, and it was all within the right side of my brain, where all this junk DNA lives. We were having, it wasn't even telepathic because we weren't using words. It was strictly energy. Like, I was back on Xylanthia. I don't want to say it was Xylanthia, but it was like the experience I had on Xylanthia, and I was in complete darkness, and we had a conversation with no words. So that's how I know that was the real part of her consciousness. But she was able to reach me, I believe, because I ended up unblocking her that night. And I was just praying to God, like, I hope she's okay, like, give me a sign. And that's what happened. And I believe she gave me some tools that I soon will be using from that experience. But today, relating to that, right? I know that's not my best friend that I'm speaking with, and I'm seeing her text 3 times. It's off. It's not her, and the voice, it's mimicking her. I know it's not even her voice through text. Then whenever I call her on FaceTime, sounds like her, looks like her, may say things similar to her, but it's not her. How are you gonna tell me things that you knew just a few months ago, and now it's acting like it's brand new? My best friend, told me to get locks and suggested it. She was one of the first few people that told me, yeah, you should get locks. And I ended up doing it. And then one of the conversations I had with this other spirit masquerading as her, she's acting surprised that I have locks. So these beings really go within, trust your antennas, even if it's the people that you absolutely love and adore, because they may look like them, sound like them, even digitally, let's say, move like them, but they do not have a soul. And that is going to be a tell. You will pick up on that through text, and most definitely through video chat. But relating all of this today with my brother, so that's how I know with my best friend, her channel has been compromised. And that part of her that I was able to speak to, the real her, has been compromised and blocked off. And I'm now, whenever I call her, she calls me, it's this other entity that's residing, I believe, how this is being done is in the astrals. And my brother today, I didn't think about it, but I think his phone has definitely been compromised, because I can't even say his phone, but however it's being intercepted between both channels, I just know that was not him. I know in my soul. I've known this man since we were both babies. That was not him. And there was a time I did share in one of the previous videos, so I'm going to share again, when I was in the astrals. I went into this tent, saw, one of my professors, and then she had horns. and I didn't know what was really happening. I went into the tent, blacked out. I shouldn't say blacked out, but like everything went black. And then I ended up coming to, and I was in this kitchen area, and I was on the couch, and somebody else was, or I should say, like, it was open. So, like, I was in the seating area by the kitchen, like, living room area, but it was an open wall, and the kitchen was right behind. And there was this entity. In my eyes, I was so drained that I couldn't open them, but I could feel what was going on around me through my pineal gland. Even with it being closed, y'all, I could feel. And there was this entity that was moving in the space, and then came up to me and just stuck something in my head and started just slurping like it was a huge icy. And I kept being drained. And I know for certain that this is the witch that has been here since 1492. Who is Kris Jenner? Ghislaine Maxwell. And Ghislaine Maxwell is what? Her father's favorite son. I know that for that instance, it was that witch that was slurping on my essence. Why am I adding this in here? Well, somehow, some way, I do believe. Oh, and after she was done slurping, he was done slurping, this voice said, "All right." And it was in my brother's tone of voice. Sounded exactly like him, but through the words, I could feel them vibrate through my body. I knew it was not him. And I knew it was this witch that has been here since 1492, Ghislaine Maxwell. So, tying that into today, I do believe that was who was on the phone. And I got the call, and there was those 3 bell chimes, to then the 3 phone rings, to the 6 phone rings, to him paying at 11:09 right on the dot, his price being $19.99, $9.99, and then having the ticket for $25, 5 minus 2 equals 3, to then getting this phone call at 11:43. It's always on the 3, the 6, or the 9. So that's something else that my body was just like, no, this isn't right. Something's just off. And I do believe that who called me at 11:43, that voice sounded like my brother, but that was not my brother. That was this witch that has been here since 1492, i.e. Ghislaine Maxwell. I do believe that is also the spirit masquerading as my best friend from the East Coast, the times that I have called her. Yeah, I'm gonna get into a second part of this video just because this one is getting a little long. But that's who I believe it was today, and I also just felt not only all that energy affecting me in my back, but I felt it all right here. And what's right here? Your bird eye. Your third eye. I just felt these uncomfortable frequencies just right here in my head, even though that phone call wasn't even 5 minutes. May not have even been 4, may not have been 3. I think it was 2 or less. It was enough right here. But as I'm saying this, the sun is coming out. It's funny because when I filmed this the first time, the sun started breaking through again. So I'm just taking that as a sign to, I'm gonna add in speak your truth, tell the truth whenever you can. Even if the only person in that room, in that space for that day that hears you is you. So now I'm going to end this video and make a little bit of a part 2. And I want to send peace, courage, protection, and divine cosmic love to every single 93rd being, Anunnaki goddess, and Anunnaki god who is on their journey of remembering their divinity and remembering who they are. Peace.